in Colchester.
Mr. Speaker, we have asked this NDP Liberal coalition government to give Canadians hope by outlining the benchmarks used to end federal mandates. Some Canadians, such as Carolyn, are being treated as second-class citizens, unable to work or travel domestically. This issue has failed to receive an answer both at the committee level and here in the House of Commons. Mr. Speaker, when is this NDP Liberal government going to stop disrespecting the institution of Parliament and give Canadians the plan they so rightly deserve?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank my colleague for giving me one more opportunity to speak about the importance of vaccination. And just this morning we were informed of a recent US study that between June and November 2021, had there been more vaccinated Americans, they would have saved about $14 billion in the cost of hospitalizations. 700,000 would not have ended up in a hospital. This, Mr. Speaker, is many lives saved and cared for.
The Honourable Member for Saskatoon West.
Mr. Speaker, when lifting COVID mandates in my home province of Saskatchewan, Premier Moe said the following: "It's time to heal the divisions." Premier Moe recognizes something that this Prime Minister simply cannot. The leader must unite Canadians. Instead, our Prime Minister is using every opportunity to divide Canadians based on vaccination status. Dr. Tam has stated that the science supports a review of federal COVID mandates and restrictions. Mr. Speaker, since this government claims to listen to science, why isn't it immediately announcing a plan to lift all federal COVID mandates and restrictions?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The reason we're able to lift restrictions is that we have a large number of people here in Canada who have been vaccinated. I just spoke a moment ago about this recent US study. What I didn't mention, Mr. Speaker, is that in that study, 163,000 deaths would have been averted between June and November last year in the United States had there been more vaccinated Americans during that period.
The Honourable Member for Cypress Hills Grasslands.
Mr. Speaker, every citizen of Canada has the right to enter, remain in, and leave Canada. That's not my words, that's the Charter. Vaccine mandates have prevented Canadians from travelling within Canada and outside of Canada. We're also experiencing closures at the borders in my riding that are obstructing essential businesses from operating. A return to regular hours isn't asking for too much. Nobody is winning with this current setup. When will the government end the mandates and fix the mess at the border?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, we're very grateful to the millions, in fact almost 30 million Canadians who got vaccinated. And that's the reason we're able to avoid now the closing of schools, the shutting down of businesses, restaurants, theaters, cinemas. Mr. Speaker, that's a reason for which we're able on April the 1st now to make it easier for people to travel into Canada by changing the pre-arrival testing rules. This is all very good news, Mr. Speaker, and it's due again to the benefits that we have from vaccination.
The Honourable Member for Chilliwack Hope.
While the provinces have all signalled an end to their vaccine mandates, the Liberals are continuing to punish Canadians who are not vaccinated. Unvaccinated Canadian citizens cannot get on an airplane to fly inside of their own country to attend weddings, funerals, or visit ailing relatives. They are unable to travel for work, impacting their ability to provide for their families. The science does not support this continued discrimination. When will the Prime Minister finally follow the science and end his cruel and vindictive vaccine mandates once and for all?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And cruel is indeed the right word when we speak about the impacts of COVID-19 on our families, on our children, our seniors, our economy, our workers, our businesses over the last 2 years. It's been extremely harsh, Mr. Speaker. The reason is that for which we're able to make life more normal now is that we're continuing the fight against COVID. Living with COVID, Mr. Speaker, means continuing the fight against COVID. We can't live without COVID. We have to live with it and continue the fight against it.